Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. I'm actually going to continue down our previous rant of fear and greed, or bulls and bears. I mean, to some degree, again, let's go down this emblematic approach and look at a theme from a higher conceptual standpoint instead of just like the noise around an idea, right? We commonly hear this idea of a bull or a bear in the marketplace. Now, one of the things about the interesting concept about the bear market is generally those who are concerned about the future actually accumulate things, right? The bear is a prime example of this. The bear knows the winter is coming at one point or another, so they get prepared for that. They accumulate as much fat as they can, so they store it up so they can go through their hibernation process or their downtime without any problems. You know, there is some level in society in which a survival mechanism kicks in where there are people who are more focused on the accumulation of things in harder times that do really well. This is an appreciation for wealth and assertiveness that runs through multiple categories, but nonetheless, the bulls, on the other hand, just run at anything. Anytime anything turns red, like, oh my God, something turns red. It's a highly emotionally volatile space. And in a bull market, it looks like everybody's a damn genius because everything literally goes up in a theme. Right now, the theme that we are looking at is the cryptocurrency sector. Here's Bitcoin on the daily, 3-day actually. So we're up high. We're up high in the mountains right now at one of the peaks, that is for sure. Now, which peak it is, or whether it's the final peak or the peak out somewhere around $140,000 is kind of my rough estimate. It has been somewhere maybe around December to January, February. One of the parts we need to recognize is that if you are new to investing, you are new here, what you need to do is be patient and relax, because the best entries you could have made after the 2017 bull market was pretty much every day afterwards. And what happens is, if you understand this, that pretty much every day after the bull market was a great time to accumulate Bitcoin. This is not the first time it happened. It's not the first asset this has happened to. In fact, we see many, many times again, the thematic approach here is if you find an asset that is fundamentally valuable, at any point after its all-time high, it was a good area to buy at a consistent frequency or an interval. You don't go to the gym all at once and expect to get ripped. Investing is the same thing. You do not show up one day, 1 month, even 1 year and expect to make massive changes within your life. Usually, most people, and I'm going to include myself in this one, as an average person, it feels kind of silly saying that because it doesn't really sound anyway true if you know me, but as an average person here, one of the easiest things to do is find a systematic approach or a rudimentary approach to all the things that we're trying to accomplish. And when we remove the noise of the market cycle, everything becomes an area of accumulation. Everything after the 2017 high was a great area to accumulate. Just not to overexpose yourself in any single moment, and find a regimen that you can repeat. If you do that, you're almost guaranteed success. And I highly suggest you take the path of least resistance. It is the most beneficial. It costs the least amount of emotional turmoil. And in the long run, if you play this story out, look how well it pays off. Bitcoin, exactly the same story. The 2017 to 2020 bull market accumulation cycle, or bear market accumulation cycle, because these two are definitely interrelated. Look how much time we spent if all you did was just buy every month and ignore the price. What you get is almost a perfect unilateral movement through the trading range where you would end up with around an approximate price of $10,000. And what is so unique and fundamentally interesting about these conversations is that this is not the only place that we've seen this. No, there are some other very unique fundamentals that we use to measure something similar here, and we're going to look at that now. So this is the Glassnode data. This is fundamentally a bullish reason. So again, even if we go to $30,000, which I don't think we're going to, I'm not stating that. This idea is that there is a potential for that. It's the least likely of situations at the moment. But even if it were, just like the bull markets prior, every moment is a great time to be accumulating up an early thematic investment. So trying to make this as simple on everyone as possible. Now, I know emotion and sells and controversy, and it's going to go here, we do this, we do that, we double this, we do a 5x here, 10x there, and we're going to 100x on this idea here. If we're more realistic about this, it's actually a really easy game, and you will make millions of dollars with very little effort over the course of a few years. It's one of the greatest opportunities of of anyone who knows how to use the digital technology to take advantage of a nation space that has almost an infinite room for upside. Okay, so here is the Bitcoin balance on exchanges. And right now, this last 48 hours, we have seen a significant dip, again, on the percent of Bitcoin on the open market. Again, for those of you that have listened to me a long time, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm going to say. This increases volatility, right? So as the price has gone down and we see the supply go down, this is a bullish signal. Now, again, one of the things we have to be aware of is that could change tomorrow, right? More supply could come onto the market, it would turn around, and then this orange marker would go up instead of down. And the volatility would still be increased based off the fact that every time you take Bitcoin off the market, either direction, it becomes significantly more noticeable in the risk to reward relationship. This is why fundamentally what we want to do is measure out how long we've been in this story. So you can go watch videos of mine about Bitcoin back in 2006 to early 2017. That's January through March 2017. Bitcoin was at just like $600, $700, $800. And I was saying Bitcoin's going to $6 million. That's the video I made while I was walking on the beach. And what I've gotten used to is the timing that it takes to see the story unfold. And every time we get to the new peak here, it's like seeing what's possible in the next 10 or 20 years. Now, I want to make some conjecture here on the shorter time frames that's more indicative of today's video title. Here is the Bitcoin 3-day chart that we've been watching. We saw a nice reaccumulation trading range take place at the bottom. We've seen an SOS, LPS, SOS, and LPS. Now, technically, this is the completion of that trading range. There is no necessity for a higher SOS and LPS, but it is also possible, and at this point, in my opinion, likely. So what we're doing is we're trying to listen to the market. I'm not trying to make predictions. It's just silly. The reason we're trying to listen to the market is because it gives us more confidence in our long-term approach to what we're doing, and in general, the theme as a whole. The crypto market as a whole and how it's feeling is largely reflected in Bitcoin. I think if you want to know how most of the market is feeling, check out Bitcoin. But nonetheless, because of this, there is a potential that we could come down to around $50,000 and fill this slight gap before moving up higher. And there's a really interesting argument that we're in right now for the potential of a much larger trading range that we are now taking part of. This would actually be, this will be really interesting. Again, I don't know the outcome. I believe it is largely bullish. I think that this LPS we get finishes likely around here, and then it continues to close above the box. And then we see basically this ends up being the finality of the SOS and the trading range before we go up to around $140,000. But let's say we go to the downside. Let's say this is a distributional pattern and we come down. This would last for such an inconceivably short period of time that it may end up just being a much larger trading range before going up. There is so much support here at this $30,000 range that I don't think it will ever break that. So even if we did, and even if we do, and you should almost hope that we would, because it would be a better evaluation of the asset that we all want. 30,000 would be an amazing thing, but I do not believe that's what's going to happen. I do suspect that this continues up this SOS and this LPS. Now, again, on the smaller time frames, we're seeing ideas that definitely make this look like a potential of a small distribution top. And this is one of the fun things about the idea of scale and variance is that now on the 6 hour, we're watching just a single trading range, which is from the previous bottom of the LPS to the top of our new SOS. And what is either going to be an LPS or a total failure of this trading range at this particular moment. Now, again, I believe that this is not an upthrust after distribution, although there's a significant amount of supply coming into the market. One of two things is happening here. Big players are probably testing to see how much they can get rid of selling and how much they affect the price based off that selling. These are largely miners or institutional investors, and they do this frequently to test the market to see if the market can handle the pressure effectively. So we're at a very pivotal point. My large feeling here is that we continue upwards, that this is actually a continuation pattern on the top of the trading range, much similar to reaccumulation schematic 3. The rest of the market has taken some nice dips because of it. Again, Avalanche has done phenomenally well for us. Someone in the comments the other day, this is hilarious to me. Someone in the comments the other day, like, what happened to this massive altcoin market cycle you said was going to take place after Bitcoin dropped to 30 grand last time? And I'm like, wait, hold on. So that was in July. I'm like, what do you mean? Like a 10x? Is that not enough? I'm sorry. I didn't realize that a 10x on Avalanche and even more for Solana was not a kind of a face melter. My bad. I guess some people's expectations are very high. 5x, only 5x. Yeah, we had a higher return on Avalanche. That's great. Great work, Avalanche. I still believe Avalanche is going to be one of the kings of the castle. I believe people are underestimating it still. I've stood by that since day one, loud. Okay, next. Does not look super strong on Solana, but that's okay. Again, the market looks weak right now. And the last thing I kind of want to finalize, because I've got someone showing up here, I want to see, is this part here, the Fear and Greed Index. Again, we've hit around the midway, dropping to around 54. We're pretty much right in the neutral area. I suspect we get a deeper dip into the LPS range of Bitcoin. I'm going to give you guys just a rapid fire things of stuff I'm looking at. Quid, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Pretty easy, quidtoken.com. I'm going to be brief today because I don't have much time. We're also looking at truelove.ai. These are just what's on my screen, just so you guys are, if you're interested in where I'm looking at right now. Brink.io. Where was this other good one? Oh, yes, this one. Clone X RTFKT. Just kind of scrolling around, learning, reading about metaverse stuff. This 20,000 max avatars. These guys look super cool. We were doing some research on Ethereum. Christian Angemeyer, super interesting individual. Congrats, Christian. And then Phantom Galaxies. Those are the top of the things on my research list right now. Keep it short, succinct. We'll see you guys again in the next episode of this tea with the Arcane Bear. Thank you all for joining us. I still believe bullish, but we'll check back on the market supply tomorrow. Oh wait, hold on. Back.